Recording now.
It's going.
Alright,
Like you have
yes,
to, you
I have the
see
red
it.
dot on the bottom of the screen with a tiny
Alright,
with a
cool.
number
And we could
counting.
have our own little snippets, like,
Uh-huh.
you know, how at the end, what do they call them?
Bloopers?
Or whatever,
bloopers?
Bloopers?
Yeah,
At
something
the
like
end of
that.
movies? Yeah, we could have one
Is
now,
it actually
Jack.
recording?
Yeah, Jack isn't working this time. We've just gone
Ah.
through half the interview.
Alright,
Sorry.
cool. All right, Mr. Blake.
Yeah.
Let me get the cough out.
Let's go back and move.
All right, what do you know about year-round schooling?
Not having worked in a year-round schooling environment, I know very little. I guess one could consider summer school. We had summer school here last year. I've worked in schools over years that have had summer school in the building. But when we're really talking about the purest form of year-round schooling, we're talking about a concept that's available to everybody, not just the ends of the spectrum, meaning the remedial or the accelerated. We're really going after everybody, and it's a community culture-wide acceptance of such. And when you start building that in, that means family vacations, that means HVAC issues, you gotta make sure you're air conditioned, you gotta make sure, you know, all kinds of stuff factor into transportation, food service, things like this, all factor into that. So, a part-time job for kids, whatever. There's a lot of variables that contribute to that. So I've never really worked in that concept per se, but I think it would be an interesting thing to explore.
How do you think MCHS would do in a year-round schedule?
Well, there's the research that exists that when we walk out the door in May and back in August, we lose about 2 weeks of content understanding. And so if there was a structure, knowing that we're all right now just very geared towards achievement for our kids, if there was a structure that was an obstacle to that achievement, I think we have an obligation as an institution to explore that. And even bigger than as an institution, that institution sits in a community. And so we need to look at, from a broader perspective, a community maybe should start taking some interest in the concept of more frequent vacations, but not the big gap where we lose something as a result of our structure.
And how do you think the students would react to a switch to a year-round schedule?
Well, with anything, I don't know if you guys remember when you were freshmen, my first meeting with you guys in the gym, and I kind of threw the lockdown on all of you. Said, all right, we're done with this. I don't know if you remember that as much as the seniors, I'm sure, remembered it that year. Because there was this new sheriff in town. Well, anytime you change the culture, in other words, at that time I had to really work hard to change some culture. Now I think our kids get it, that I can be that guy, but I can also be this other guy. And so it's really about changing culture. When you change culture, there's people that feel a certain way, like this is good. And then there's other people that are like, well, this is a little threatening to me, because they perceive it as winners and losers. And so I would suggest that students should be part of the discussion. If it were part of this change, we would need to have representation from different groups of kids, even the struggling learners and the ones who don't necessarily like school, as opposed to the ones who love school and want to get more school after they leave here. We need to have that kind of representation so that we would get a real answer, not an answer we necessarily want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, your answers.